He's the chairman and editor-in-chief of Forbes Media. Steve Forbes joins me now. He's also the author of his latest book, Money, How the Destruction of the Dollar Threatens the Global Economy and What We Can Do About It. Thank you so much for being back with us.
Good to be with you again. Thank you.
So let's start by talking about your latest book and what can we do about it?
Ultimately, we're going to do what we did for the first 180 years of the United States' existence, and that is link the dollar to gold. Gold done right, and that's the key thing, done right, provides stability and value and flexibility in terms of money supply. There are a lot of myths about gold, which the book deals with, but it's a very simple concept. Just as scales measure weight, money should measure value, and it does it best when it has a fixed value.
So your solution for strengthening the dollar is perhaps returning to some sort of a gold standard?
Absolutely. Nothing else works. Things have been tried for 4,000 years, and considering the floundering we've had since we've gone off gold, yes, experience tells us that's the way to go.
Now, I know you've also been very vocal in regards to the Fed, and last year, when Bernanke was still at the helm, you said that the Fed and Bernanke were actually harming the dollar, and they actually had no real anchor. Now that Yellen is there, how do you think that she is doing? Is there more of an anchor today?
No, they're still rudderless, anchorless, however you want to call it. They have no appreciation for the need for a stable dollar. Fortunately, they are doing away with quantitative easing, which will free up credit for the economy, which is why I think the U.S. economy will start to do a little better. But no, she does not get it any more than Bernanke did.
So what do you think will be the end game for the Fed here?
They will go into another crisis. Nobody knows when, because as somebody once said, they operate by whim, not by rules. I think there's a movement in Congress to get more rules so people can judge what the Fed is doing and whether they're meeting their own metrics.
Now, you're a keynote speaker here at FreedomFest. The theme is Big Brother here. Do you feel that he is here, and what can we do to protect ourselves?
I'm surprised we haven't gotten a little flack for how about Big Sister, but the same thing, government looking over our shoulder. And one of the things I discussed at this conference was that Big Brother likes a cheap dollar, because a weak currency always means a stronger government and a weaker private sector.
Do you think that there's more optimism at this year's conference compared to last in regards to the U.S. economy?
I don't think there's a real overt optimism, a really buoyant optimism, but I think people are looking forward to the elections. I think there are going to be some very big changes in our midterm elections in November, and that's going to set the stage for some very interesting showdowns in 2015.
And what could those showdowns mean for commodities, especially gold?
Gold, I don't think you're going to see a real pop-up unless you get a blow-up in the Middle East, which is always possible, or Japan and China coming to near blows in the Pacific. But barring some international crisis, I think gold right now is going to be treading water as the Fed stops quantitative easing, as people get geared up for higher interest rates. I think gold's play will wait for a while before the Fed does something crazy again.
Now, I'd like to ask you, obviously you're a media mogul, and I'd like to know how you feel the media handles covering, for example, the U.S. economy. Do you think that the information that we're getting is real and accurate?
Well, there's a lot of information out there, but politically, what we call mainstream media has not been doing a very good job on the Obama administration. They've been more of a cheerleader rather than an investigator. But thanks to the internet, thanks to talk radio and everything else, there's a whole bunch of information out there. And one of the reasons, for example, Forbes.com has done very well is people are looking. Where do you go to find out what is really going on? Where do you go to get good analyses? And this is why the book Money is off to a good start, because people want straightforward explanations. There's a lot of noise out there.
So how does Steve Forbes stay informed?
Going online, coming to conferences like these where you get a lot of interaction, brainstorming, so to speak.
But there's that fine line there, right? So if you're online, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, are you inviting more of Big Brother?
Big Brother has a lot of ways to go after you, but that doesn't mean you should not push back on it or be passive about it and say, oh, well, there's nothing we can do about it. There is a lot that can be done. Abuses of the IRS, abuses of regulatory agencies, trashing the dollar. Those are things that you can take meaningful measures on.
Finally, what changes would Steve Forbes like to see in the U.S. right now? If you could have, top 3 changes you'd like to see immediately.
Gold standard, flat tax, and patient-controlled health care.
I think you have thought about this quite a bit.
Well, I think exciting things are going to be happening, especially on the health care front. A whole new system is coming in. but just don't get sick for the next 3 years.
All right, and before I let you go, don't get sick for the next 3 years. I'll keep that in mind. Before I let you go, so I know you're a gold fan. What other investments are you liking right now?
Well, gold is really an insurance policy. It's not like buying a new technology or factory. It's insurance against the craziness of our political leaders. But looking out ahead, I think healthcare is going to be throwing up enormous opportunities, high tech obviously, but in mundane areas. I mean, coffee is the most common commodity out there. Look at Starbucks, multi-billion-dollar globe-girdling company. Who would have thought it? So there are plenty of opportunities, and I think we're going to get more and more of an environment where that kind of entrepreneurship can flourish instead of being suppressed, which is what we've had for the last 4 or 5 years.
And any final thoughts for investors watching?
Be steady and remember, emotions are your enemy. And the fact that people aren't giddy right now is bullish.
All right, Steve Forbes, thank you so much. His
you.
book is Money. Thank you for joining us. Hope you have a good conference. And thanks for watching our coverage here from FreedomFest. We'll have more for you the next few days. In the meantime, you can email us at newsfeedback@kitco.com. Thanks for watching.